What in the mozzarella? How is this literally one ingredient? Hello friends and not yet friends, welcome back to Mary's Test Kitchen, where our journey of using the traditional method of making tofu on non-traditional ingredients has taught us to expect the unexpected. But thanks to today's sponsor, Sage, expect to get through the cold season ahead armed with 100% natural plant-based remedies that actually work. More on them later, but I won't withhold my discount code, which is good for the next 48 hours. I've never seen or felt this cheese pull-like texture from anything other than dairy cheese, so I was and continue to be shocked. I know visually, yes, cooked starches can make melty dairy-free cheese sauces that appear to stretch somewhat, but truly, in my opinion, they don't stretch so much as goop. But this is unique. What is this magical ingredient? It all started when we tried to tofuify sesame seeds. Remember? We soaked them to plump them up, drained and blended to break their fat and protein content out, strained the liquid from the pulp to make this dreamy plant-based milk. Then I cooked it and watched it self-coagulate without any additives. I pressed the creamy curds to make sesame tofu. That was bitter. I wouldn't even serve this at an exotic tofu tasting party. But knowing that in the world of tahini, the Middle Eastern condiment made from pure ground sesame seeds, some are bitter and some are less so. Maybe it was my process or the seeds that were to blame. That's why I shelled out a few more bucks to crack the case, and quite by accident, found out sesame's hidden secret. But before we can find out, I've got to thank Sage for sponsoring today's video and for making the hidden secrets of plants not so secret for over 30 years. I've been using the products for about 20 years now, and longtime viewers know that I rely specifically on their Peppermint Halo Roll-On for the winter season. Specifically because the weather here changes, like in an afternoon it could be sunny and then snowy and then sunny again, and those extreme changes are infamous in my city for causing headaches. But with this, I just roll it onto my temples. The neck is a nice area as well, and it creates a halo effect of this wonderful, refreshing, spa-like scent, and then the cooling sensation from peppermint sets in. Actually, menthol is very interesting because it actually binds to sensory receptors to reduce your pain perception. It also has eucalyptus, which has a great scent and encourages deep breathing, plus rosemary, which encourages circulation. It always makes me feel better. No wonder it's Sage's #1 best-selling blend. But if it's not just head pain and neck tension and it's an actual cold, it's time to turn to Fortify, which is their blend specifically for cold and cough symptoms. In Canada, it's called Immune, so in the US, it's called Fortify. So if I really do catch something despite my best efforts, I can roll it directly on my neck, pulse points, and that helps to relieve cough and throat symptoms. It uses tea tree, eucalyptus, and cinnamon, which is nice and warming. And bonus, it smells so good. Definitely essential for this winter season. And right now, you can get it in their Pocket Pharmacy Kit, which I have right here in this beautiful vegan pouch with lining made from recycled water bottles. We have 5 of their beautiful blends here, including the Peppermint Halo Roll-On and the Fortify, plus Eater's Digest, which was the blend I used starting 20 years ago to ease stomach discomfort, and I've been relying on it ever since. In the US, it's called Gutsy. Stress Release, which is super nice to roll on, especially on Sunday nights, if you know what I mean. It's just soothing and relaxing, very calming, as well as Pain Release, which is for your, everyday muscle aches and pains. Everything to get us through the most wonderful time of the year, aka the most stressful, busiest, achy, germy time of the year. It also makes a truly thoughtful and caring gift. Whether it's for yourself or your family, use my code MaryTK at checkout to get 20% off site-wide for the next 48 hours. And that's both in the US and Canada, so use the appropriate links in the video description. And if you're wondering, yes, it'll work for both new and returning customers. If you've been following me for a while, you know that my shopping cart is going to be full of the body butters. They're literally the only natural products that'll work on my skin in this deserty, arid, dry winter. Thanks again to Sage for sponsoring today's Sesame Adventure. Don't forget to use my code MaryTK at checkout for 20% off site-wide on all Sage products, plus free shipping in the US and Canada as well. Just click on the appropriate link in the description to open up a new tab to shop whilst we get into the Sesame secrets. Remember, I was only in it to figure out why last time Sesame Tofu was so bitter. I had two ideas. Maybe it was the seeds I used last time. Sesame seeds naturally have a bitter compound on the outside, but it should be processed out of hulled seed. Or maybe they were too old, rancid, even though they smelled fine, stored improperly before they got to me. Totally possible. But I hadn't tasted them at the start, so I don't know if they started out bitter. Or they were fine, and maybe, like olive oil, they get bitter once you blend them. Maybe something else, but I only wanted to change one variable at a time. So we have one new bag of conventional hulled white sesame seeds and one organic. Will they make a difference? And learning from my rookie mistake, let's give them a taste right away. First, the conventional. Yep, it tastes like raw sesame seeds, like nutty but not very strong. There's a hint of harshness, an astringent quality like walnuts, but I wouldn't go so far to say bitter. The raw organic seeds have the same sesame character, but rounder, like a fuller, nutty flavor, if you know what I mean. There's no harshness, and while they're both good, the organic is a step above for flavor and overall munchability. But will that change after our standard overnight soak? The next day, our sesame seeds have plumped up and both batches look pretty identical. But will they taste identical? Let's drain them and find out. Getting all the tiny seeds out of the jar is a bit annoying. So I'm giving up here and we have 707 grams. Just to compare, the original no-name batch weighed 849 grams after soaking. I wonder why they were so thirsty. For the organic batch, let's drain them a little differently. And yes, this is much easier. Going forward, this is the way. 797 grams. Quite a difference in thirst level again. What gives? You can leave your ideas in the comments while I give these a taste. In the conventional batch, it's less sesame-ish and more herbal, like ginseng. I don't know where that came from. I'm surprised because there wasn't any hint of this flavor originally. There may be what could be called a hint of bitterness, but no more astringent feeling. That's clearly been washed away. The organic retains more sesame flavor, but the ginseng note is there too. It is a lot lighter, but it is definitely there. Not bitter in any way I can detect though. So interesting. Time to milk these babies. As usual, adding about half the seeds in the blender with about double their volume in water because that's all the blender can handle at one time. Blending on high speed for 30 seconds. And then into my trusty nut milk bag. Again with the second half, and it's time to break out the 4 arms of steel. Difficulty level, probably around 6 or 7.5 out of 10. It is quite a bit more strenuous compared to regular soy milk, but not too bad. The pulp on both looks about the same as the first batch. You can see the hints of the original shapes of the seeds, appearing to be flaky and dry, but it actually feels creamy to the touch. I think I got the organic batch a touch drier because there's a little bit more of a sandy, looser feeling in the way that it crumbles, and also in the mouthfeel. Speaking of, both have barely any detectable nutty flavor or bitterness. They're extremely bland, which will be perfect to add fiber to any baked goods. I'll probably keep these in the freezer and crumble them into any bread I make this season, maybe muffins or cookies, even pancakes. The possibilities are endless. What would you do with your leftover sesame seed milk pulp? Let me know in the comments below. But now for our milk taste test. Remember, last time the sesame seed milk looked so good, but upon tasting, it was super bitter. Like I would never drink this for fun bitter. But not quite feeling like straight up poison a la lupini bean milk. This time, let's start with conventional. Refreshing and surprising. It still has that ginseng quality, but it's now balanced with the classic sesame nutty taste. I am surprised by just how sesame-ish it is without having toasted those seeds. It's developed a very mild tea-like bitterness, but nothing like the previous batch. As mild as it is, it's very interesting that a bitterness has now emerged. The organic version has a similar flavor, but the sesame isn't as strong. Actually, overall less flavor in general, so it's refreshing, but not at all what I imagine sesame milk to taste like. I think we can guess, with some degree of certainty, that the no-name seeds from the previous episode were probably bitter in the first place, even though they passed the sniff test. I'm so relieved, so happy, so excited to find out how much better sesame tofu can be. It doesn't take long before I can smell the sesame aroma. It is so good. I wish you could smell this with me. Some milks in this series will start to coagulate just as they approach the boiling point, and our sesame seed milk is starting to visibly separate at 172 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's keep going. I've turned off the heat, and let's see what we have. Clumpy curds, Milky Way, and what in the mozzarella? How is this literally one ingredient? There's so much going on in here. This creamy, fluffy curd texture and this stringy part is intriguing me. Let's taste it.
It's kind of chewy, these threads.
I actually noticed these stringy threads in the original sesame tofu batch, but they were so slight and you couldn't see them on camera, so I didn't mention them. But this time, the effect is obviously, obvious.
That looks like mozzarella. It's got a little bit of pull to it. Two different textures here. Like the globby stuff is creamy and soft, it melts in your mouth, but the stringy part, it has chew to it. I think if we used this hot for something cheesy, this would work.
But the title is Will It Tofu, so let's move on and see if this texture is retained when we press it.
Big mistake, huge mistake. It appears that I used scented laundry detergent when I washed this cheesecloth because it smells like laundry detergent. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna switch it to a different cloth, and hopefully the scent doesn't transfer too much. Big mistake, huge mistake, monster mistake. Come on! Oh no! Oh no! So many mistakes today. It was going so well. Hot. Burning. Burn my fingertips off. Oh my god. There's still a bunch stuck to the cloth, but I'm not going to scrape it off because I'm afraid of the scent transfer. From 1 pound of sesame seeds. Do you see that? That's all we have. Better as a cheese ball, don't you think? It's such a small amount. Disaster.
There's so much whey, 1.5 liters, and it's so milky that it might be possible to pull more curds out of that. So let's give it our best shot. But whey taste test first.
Watery, herbal, a little bitter, but not too bitter. Let's try this again.
This time with gypsum, the traditional tofu coagulant I love for making all types of tofu, especially in this series because it's cheap and tasteless. And the whey is almost to a boil now.
I am seeing separation again. Interesting. Let's just keep it going, the heat. Let's take it to a boil, see what happens. And then afterwards, if there's not very much, well, we'll see. We'll see.
The new stuff is bouncier. There's even a color difference. It's whiter.
You can see the difference. I put the new stuff over here in the corner. Okay, we're at 5 minutes of boiling. And we have this. Whatever this is. Seems like if I keep boiling it, this stuff will keep forming. Bouncy. And so I'm just going to add the coagulant just to see if get anything different. So we're at 180 degrees Fahrenheit right now. Going to cover, let this rest for 15 minutes. See what we get. So let's take a before. Here's the before, put the lid on. After.
It doesn't look different at all. Time to finally fold up our cloth, add the lid, add a little bit more pressure so the whey gets squeezed out and the block will hopefully get nice and firm. And we can see what those two different textures do after a slumber party in the fridge, where hopefully we'll have another block join it. Our organic sesame milk is just waiting for its time to shine. Into the pot and turn on the heat.
I'm seeing some separation at 180 degrees.
Same as the conventional batch, curds are forming as it boils. I set the timer for 10 minutes and soon we have this curd development.
Let's check this out. Look at this texture. Wait, I need to bring you in closer. It's freaky, but at the same time, cool.
Very blobby, kind of shiny, and there are those cheese-like pulls again.
The flavor is sesame. It's distinctly sesame and a little bit sharp. How do I put this? The sesame flavor is stronger now. And the texture of this, it's bouncy, not like tofu, more like melted Swiss cheese, as I recall. I guess this reminds me of grilled cheese sandwiches with Swiss cheese. That texture, how it's kind of chewy, squishy. Okay, let's taste this part, the part that's not looking stringy. That breaks down in the mouth more like tofu does. So it's not, there's two different textures going on here. There's a little bit of that cheese-like feeling between the teeth, where it makes your teeth slightly stick together. Very interesting, tastes good. It does not taste like ginseng. Well, no, there's a hint of that herbalness, just a hint. So let's see when we press it, if that changes. This time I've got a cloth that doesn't smell like laundry detergent. Whey taste test. I'm expecting bitterness, like any bitterness that was in the sesame seeds, I expect it to be in this water here. Strange. It's just very watery, just like doesn't taste like anything. There's maybe a hint of a sesame flavor, no bitterness. It doesn't taste bitter. Wild.
There's a chance we could get more out of this milky looking whey, but I'm running out of daylight, so it's time to get our organic sesame seed curds into the press, and then it can join its conventional cousin overnight in the fridge. The next day, the conventional batch is on your left and the organic is on the right. Obviously, we gotta do a whey taste test first. visually distinct. Organic looks like buttery milk, conventional samesies, but with bonus oil on top.
Can definitely feel that oily layer. It definitely tastes like sesame, that classic sesame flavor. It's nutty. It's like mild though, watery, obviously. That's totally different. The flavor is more, like when you think sesame milk, I feel like this is what I would be expecting, although this is on the watery side. And this, it's just much more watery, maybe because the oil has separated out. Maybe the fat content is more emulsified in this, or the fat content has stayed into the curds, But I don't see any little oil spots in this one. So interesting. Feels really oily here. You can see the lighter color here and darker, and there's the line. It's not feeling nearly as oily. Springy.
I'm slicing a piece from the first curd harvest and then the second. Next, the organic block. I think getting another slice in is a better gauge of texture. 165 grams from the conventional, 241 grams from the organic. Not what I expected. Finally, taste test time. Conventional first. 2 different shades, not sure if you can see it too well, but in person it's obvious. And the feeling is different too. The first part is soft, breaks easily under pressure, creamy with a rich sesame flavor, and most importantly, not bitter. It's giving more cream cheese than tofu, but I like it. The second part from the bouncier curds is much more firm. The way it tears, the layers, it's giving vegan chicken, don't you think? I wish we had more volume to work with because this is just wild. And the mouthfeel is now less cheese-like and more meaty. The flavor is also sesame, but much less so. With the right seasonings, I really think this could be the next vegan chicken, except for how tiny the yield is compared to the pound of sesame it started out as. Now for the organic.
Creamy, soft. We have a blend of that cream cheesy-like texture, and it's like intermixed with the firmer, bouncy, like string cheese-like texture. And it's more bitter. It's not like unpleasantly bitter. It just has like a hint, kind of like how, when you have kale, cooked properly, it's delicious, but it has a hint of bitterness, and that's balanced with the other flavor notes, and it's altogether delicious. It's good, but you do taste that bitter flavor.
So good, but not exciting. Not like the stretchy hot curds and the chicken-like meaty texture from the second part of the conventional batch. But how can we maximize that yield? And will those stretchy curds translate onto like pizza or lasagna? I've already started experimenting with the rest of the sesame seeds, and I have more coming, but I want to hear your ideas in the comments. I am just super hype about the texture that we've been able to get from the sesame seeds so far, and I just know we can take it further in the plant-based culinary world. Thanks again to Sage for sponsoring the video today, and don't forget to use my code MaryTK for 20% off your entire purchase site-wide on both the US and Canada sites, plus free shipping for the next 48 hours. Bye for now!